But had I not done that, I would have ended up settling for a life that I didn't want. That was okay just because I felt that pressure to not disappoint people and that pressure to conform. Hi, welcome back. I'm so excited to be making this cozy big sister kind of chat video and not just tapping videos. But hi, if you're new here, I'm Michelle and I just want to have a heart-to-heart. Just a real talk about what it actually feels like to be in your 20s and kind of have no idea who you are anymore. Because nobody really prepares you for that identity crisis that sometimes inevitably comes when you graduate, because you go from having so much structure, you have expectations, you have deadlines, and then suddenly it's all up to you. And that silence can be so crazy for a lot of people. It was crazy for me. It's like you did everything you were supposed to do, but you don't even know what is next anymore. And it's just this weird mix of exhaustion, but also confusion. You're constantly wondering if you're doing something wrong or if this is really just what adulthood is like. I just want to say, it's not that you're doing anything wrong. It's just that for the first time, you're having to learn yourself as an adult. And you're having to do that instead of just chasing that external milestone. And it kind of just feels like for the first time you have a choice. It's all up to you, which is overwhelming, but it's also beautiful. But the reason I wanted to talk about this is because when I was in this place, I did feel very directionless. I felt very lost, but I didn't know what to focus on. I just felt so pressured to start checking things off of a list. Those society standards, you graduate, you get the 9 to 5, you meet someone, you get married, you buy the house, you do all the things. And I never wanted to do that. I knew that I didn't want to do that, but I felt like a weirdo for not doing that because everyone else around me was doing it. And I know a lot of other people probably feel this way, and there can be a lot of shame around it. And also, you're maybe afraid to disappoint family members who have a certain set idea of what they think your life is going to look like. But I will say, being 28 now, the best thing I ever did was just listening to my own intuition and following what was in my heart. But even at the time, I didn't even understand how powerful what I was doing was. I just thought, okay, I don't want to be unhappy, so I'm going to make these decisions. But I was making decisions from my heart, and that's what compounded on itself and ended up creating a life that I love so much and I'm so proud of. But had I not done that, I would have ended up settling for a life that I didn't want. That was okay just because I felt that pressure to not disappoint people and that pressure to conform. And so that's why I just wanted to get on here and share a couple things that I did learn. That I wrote these things in my book about navigating the emotional side of post-grad, and I just think they're really important topics. And just things that you can focus on if you feel lost, because I had to figure this out on my own and I didn't have anyone to tell me. These are just some of the things that I have found have changed my life in the best way possible. I hope this can just feel like a big sister chat for you, and just that somebody sees you and what you're going through, because I do so intently. I know what it feels like to feel that anxiety and just confusion of what the heck am I doing with my life. So the first thing I just wanted to bring up was how deeply important it is to focus on building a relationship with yourself instead of just focusing on all the things you're checking off. I would really argue that building a relationship with yourself is the most important thing that you can do in your 20s, and I never stop talking about it for that reason. Because it's the foundation for everything else. How you show up in your relationships, how you regulate your own emotions and go through hard things. We spend so much time learning how to be good students, good employees, good friends, but we're just not taught how to spend that time investing in learning ourselves, which is so important. But then we wonder why we feel so unstable when that structure from school and being a kid disappears. But really, when I started learning about this and learning about emotional regulation and building emotional maturity, everything shifted for me. But again, whether I realized it or not at the time. Because feeling lost, I realized, it was because my nervous system was feeling unsafe without that direction. And I also believe that feeling lost often is because you know that you're meant for a bigger life. You know that you want a bigger purpose, but you just don't know what it is yet. So in turn, you get that feeling of being lost. Our brains are just wired to associate safety with familiarity. So when life suddenly changes like it is for you right now, maybe you're in a new city, you have a new schedule, you don't have any professors, you don't have any grades now, your brain is perceiving that as unsafe. And so that's why even simple things like just applying for jobs or posting online or doing new things can just trigger so much self-doubt, because you don't have a grade system anymore. You don't have people around you validating you. It's all up to you. And so I just want you to know, you are not lazy if you're stuck in that freeze mode. You are not unmotivated. It's just that your body doesn't feel safe right now to move forward. Underneath all of that is just your belief system, which another thing, massively life-changing concept. But your belief system is the lens that your brain uses to interpret everything. Basically, before the age of 7, your brain is like a little sponge, and it's taking in every experience and turning it into basically your rules about who you are and who you are to the world around you. So things like growing up feeling unseen, you might have beliefs that your voice doesn't matter. Maybe you grew up in chaos. You might believe peace is unsafe. And again, these are subconscious. You don't realize necessarily that you have these. But they don't just vanish when you graduate either. They're always going to keep running automatically, shaping your emotions and decisions every single day. And that's a big reason why consciously you know you're capable, but you just still don't feel like you are. But really healing for me and doing all this work for me looked like building awareness. Learning to sit with my feelings and not have to just fix everything right away. Just getting curious about what my emotions were trying to tell me. Because most of the time, the emotion you're feeling is not the problem. It's just letting you know something bigger. Saying like, hey, something's not feeling safe here. Something's feeling unfamiliar. And when you can meet that part of yourself with compassion instead of self-criticism and judgment, that's really when your life will start to change. But if you are in that space right now where you're trying to rebuild that sense of self or learn emotional regulation, I just want you to know that you are so far from the only one going through this. And I am so proud that you are working on yourself. And that is a beautiful thing that not everyone will ever dive into in this lifetime. You're brave and it's courageous to do that. But that's why I created my community called the Grad Glow Up. Because we talk about all this stuff all the time. Not just the science stuff, but literally like lived experiences from mine and from everyone else in it. It's a space that I wish that I needed desperately when I was in that post-grad season. Because I was just stuck in rabbit holes on TikTok, scouring the internet, looking for resources, looking for someone to see me, looking for someone else who knew what I was going through. And unfortunately, at the time in 2019, it didn't exist. So I made it exist because I could not stand the idea of someone else feeling that sense of aloneness and like, what am I gonna do? But I really just want to say, you do not have to have it all figured out right now. There's really never a time where adults just have it all figured out. Even older adults, we're human beings at the end of the day. And we are going to experience human things, which means things that we've never experienced before are always around the corner. And so you don't just become this expert at being an adult, but what you learn is how to become resilient and how to move through hard things when they do show themselves. That's just really the difference of figuring it out. But yeah, just understand that it's totally okay to have seasons of your life that are a little messy, where you're growing, where you're becoming this new you. You're building the foundation for the rest of your life, and that takes time, it takes self-compassion, but there's nothing wrong with you. You are doing so much better than you think you are. I remember being so hard on myself for so long, thinking I was behind, doing something wrong. No, you are not behind. You are not doing something wrong. Just because right now things are uncertain, just because right now you have a lot of uncharted territory that you're experiencing, everything is new right now. And like I told you about the nervous system, when things are new all at once, it puts you into this fight or flight freeze mode, however your body responds, and that's why we get stuck or we feel anxious. But it is not because you're failing at life in any way, shape, or form. It just comes with becoming an adult and transitioning out of a life that you have lived your entirety of your life, because you were a student forever and now you're an adult. You're in season 1 of your adult life. Love you guys. I hope this helped. And of course, I have the resources if you are a reader. I have a book about navigating all the emotional stuff on post-grad life called Shift Your Standards. And then I also have my monthly membership if you're just looking for that ongoing support. You can find all of that on my website. And yeah, again, just so happy to be able to be the resource for you guys that I truly needed, and I hope it helps.